Pages 54 through 103 cover the stories Amusements, this is what it means to say Phoenix, Arizona, The Funhouse, and All I Wanted to Do Was Dance, and The Trial of Thomas Builds the Fire. And according to Luciano, this part of the book focuses on Victor and Thomas and describes the relationships Victor has within the reservations and what his view of life is. Through him, one can see a picture of what people in the reservation live through and how they manage to cope despite all the odds. The first story is Amusements, and the themes here would be white view of Indians, fear, and alcoholism. In Amusements, Victor, Sadie, and Dirty Joe are at a carnival where Dirty Joe is so drunk he passes out. Victor and Sadie decide to put him on a roller coaster where he becomes a spectacle for whites who crowd around him. In this part, we see how whites perceive Native Americans with hate and disgust as just a sideshow, and how the Indians are afraid of them. And this is what it means to say Phoenix, Arizona. We have the themes of tradition and friendship. Victor's father dies in Phoenix, and he needs to go and get the body and a few belongings. The problem is that he does not have money to make the trip. In this part, we meet Thomas, who is a seer, and who tells the stories to the tribe, yet no one likes him. Victor approaches the tribe council for help, but we learn that they are really in no position to help. Thomas offers to help him, but asks to be taken with him. Victor puts aside his own racism or dislike for Thomas and accepts the help. They go to Phoenix and retrieve the father's ashes, $300 as well as his truck, and drive back 16 hours to the reservation. We learn how Thomas represents all the tribe's traditions, which no one wants to listen to or abide by, yet in this case seems so practical and wise. We also learn how, even upon leaving the reservation, the father, an Indian, does not amount to much in the real world. In the end of this part, Victor knows he still cannot be friends with Thomas. In other words, he cannot reconcile who he is, an Indian, to the reality of his life. He has no identity. In The Funhouse, we see themes of respect of the old ways, white intervention, and despair. An aunt gets very upset when her husband and son make fun of her. Her position is that she has had enough of the lack of respect. Even though she plays the traditional role of mother and nurturer, the males don't respect her. In the same way, we see how the white world does not respect Indians by sterilizing her after her first baby without her knowing. She goes into a river for the whole day as a sign of desperation, but she does not accomplish much. In All I Wanted to Do Was Dance, Victor describes his affair with a white woman that would drink and sleep with him. In the morning, she would leave. Victor misses her because he loved her, but he wasn't able to commit to her as a husband. In the same way, Indians find it hard to reconcile their way of life to the white world. They have become a people without an identity, so their only recourse is to drink themselves to stupor. In The Trial of Thomas Builds a Fire, the final part of this reading, Thomas is put on trial. We never know for what reason, but he is accused of murder for visions he has had. In this part, we learn of the injustice against Indians committed by a white judicial system that is applied without due process, but yet is legitimized by the fact that it is the law of the land.